This is the Blackout Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people that do amazing things. And today I have Shannon Dunn. First off, I remember reaching out to you because I was like, who is this lady that was always talking about a crow? and that was kind of the first thing. And then, I found out that you're with E3C and you make great paintings. And I'm like, when did you start drawing or painting?
How old was I?
Well, yeah, sure. Why not?
As soon as I could pick up a pencil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It started after The Dark Crystal, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That movie blew my mind. Little 7-year-old me was never the same. And then, then Mr. Dress Up and Bob Ross and everybody helped out with that.
Oh, Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And so, did you go to NASCAR or one of those?
I went to digital animation at NSCC in Toronto.
Oh man, gosh. Do you draw with one of those tablet thingies?
I have a Wacom tablet. I'm a little old school, so I still have it hooked up to my desktop computer, and draw. Because we sort of learned that with paint, right? So it was sort of like your eye-hand coordination on the computer. You didn't look down; you looked straight ahead.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
isn't that difficult?
Not for me now.
Oh well.
But in the beginning, it took some getting used to. Yeah.
Oh man, gosh, I can't even imagine it.
But I'm saving up for an iPad with Procreate on it.
That's the one where you kind of just draw right on the iPad.
Right on the iPad, anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. Or, the equivalent, the Wacom equivalent, whatever comes first, whatever's on sale.
So Wacom, what is, I guess, so you draw on it, do you use Photoshop? I don't know.
No,
you use Photoshop, okay.
I do, yes, good guess.
I don't know the name of the apps and stuff.
Photoshop girl all the way. I love it. I've been using it since 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you've gone through how do you feel about having to pay for a monthly, though?
I love it because when I was going to school, I had to pay for it out front.
But, once you pay, it's yours, right?
It's yours, but you don't get the updates.
Oh.
You get at the time it was the version that you purchased, and however long they provided support for that particular version, you got your updates. But yeah,
I didn't even think of that because I'm like, oh fuck, you see that thing boop, $80. Oh my god.
Yeah. I also subscribe to Lightroom too, so I have a double whammy each month.
Oh man. Oh yeah. You know what? If almost everyone that takes photos use Lightroom, and I'm like, I try to use it, but with Photoshop you can just drag a photo and it's just one photo. But with Lightroom you have to create a folder and you set it up, and I don't like that setup. Is there an easier way to use Lightroom?
Well, I sort of trained myself. It wasn't something I had official training in.
Oh, man.
YouTube videos were the big thing for me. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah, there's a shortcut if you don't want to create specific folders that work for Lightroom only. At the end, when you're ready, there's a little button that says print to file.
Oh.
And if you don't have Photoshop, it sort of rotates your photo in a certain angle that, upside down. But it does allow you to save it wherever you want to save it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll try that. Mm-hmm. But because I'll be honest. So Lightroom is kind of easy to do stuff, and it has more things you can do to photos than Photoshop for some reason.
Can't do.
Yeah.
My favorite is Punch. There's it's a preset called Punch. And it doesn't matter what you put in there. You click that punch and it looks amazing when you're done.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I watched the YouTube tutorials, and one of these people made a tutorial about photo, and the before and after, and it's night and day. Mm-hmm. But he did a time lapse of she did a time lapse of the process, and it's a lot of work.
It can be.
And what do you find? So you studied digital animation,
yeah.
And but but you do real life paintings. Which one do you find yourself doing more of?
Well, I don't really do a lot of animating anymore. It turns out that when I graduated, there wasn't a whole lot in the form of jobs in Nova Scotia for it.
This place, what's this? The place kind of in Barrington, Copernicus.
Yeah. It was, what was it called before? I can't even remember.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, they were a rivalry when we were in school.
Okay.
But yeah, there wasn't very many jobs. There was 2 animation studios, and they, from what I heard, weren't doing very well at the time. Now it's a totally different ballgame. Like animation is huge here now. But so anyway, I moved on. I graduated, continued to draw, obviously. Worked as a waitress at Smitty's for a bit, and then and then got my corporate job. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then, boy, like, why didn't you let go of painting?
Pardon?
Painting.
What do I like about it?
Yep.
It allows me to paint what I see in my head and bring it forward.
So wait, you don't paint off like photos, or you kind of?
You need reference. I can't draw a hand for the life of me from memory. I have to have reference photos of, but when you use your imagination, a photo is one thing, but the way you want the world to see it is totally different.
Oh.
So you can paint it and make it the way you want and add the colors you want. Yeah. So.
You were saying this thing, funny enough, a couple of days ago, I read that people that are great at drawing like animation, cartoons, can't really see image in their heads, but they are great at actually doing. Apparently, like almost everyone that works at Disney can't really picture things, but like if they have a reference, they're like. So I guess anyone that's like, no, I need a reference picture, can really draw. And your Instagram is great. How did you? What made you decide that to share your images online?
Well, I figured, why not? First of all. But I like what I do, and I'm inspired by a lot of other local artists around here who are doing the same thing. So I said, why not? Share it. I didn't think I was really good enough to put it out there, but I got a lot of encouragement.
Yeah, your work is great.
Well, thank you. So yeah, I got lots of really good feedback, and it inspires me to do more. Like I was in a huge rut a couple of years back where I just wasn't painting as much as I'd like, work and stuff,
Yeah.
But Instagram sort of inspires you to get stuff out there to your audience. So if you're in a rut, well, you can't be because people they want to see your stuff. So
one of the new things that, or not that new, but pretty recent was the girl from Game of Thrones, the daughter.
Area, yeah.
That was a great one.
Thank you.
So what made you decide to paint that? Or was that like a painting or one of your digital things?
It's a digital painting. Yeah. So
that's a lot of work.
That was done on my Wacom tablet. So I draw it by hand first, preliminary sketch, and then I bring it into Photoshop and then paint it. I prefer painting it digitally, because there's no time to wait for anything to dry.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome.
True.
You can work in layers. I mean, you can do that with regular paints too, but some paints like watercolor, if you make a mistake, you can't paint over that. You can't.
Oh.
You have to start over.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought like, say if you got out of line, you could like change it in a way or something. You
can mess it up, on your painting and then bring it into Photoshop and fix it later. Sort of cheat a little, but you can definitely do that.
Okay.
But her expression in that particular still, where she's just screaming her little heart out, it deserved to be on a painting. I mean, it's one thing to get a screen cap from a show, and and obviously people were inspired by that and moved by her performance. She's an amazing actress, but like just that scream.
Where was that from? Is that from the last season? Like the one that just finished? I've not seen that season yet. Everyone, there was this disappointment. How was it for you?
The whole season?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was over too quickly, personally.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still waiting for Winds of Winter.
The book, the guy book. But now, if they finish this story based on the outline that George, what is his name? Martin.
George
guy?
R. R. Martin, yeah.
He gave them. Isn't the book going to be kind of like season, like the one we just watched, that one that just finished?
You'd think.
Oh. So you think he's going to do something totally different?
I think he definitely will be doing something different because the show is a little bit like the books, but they sort of diverge away from his story. And in his story, there's so many characters too. So I understand why they did it. I mean, if you were watching book
But like
version,
in the book, all those characters are like important characters or just.
yeah, well, it depends on your, I guess, perspective when you're reading the book and your opinion, like who's important and who's not.
Yeah.
But there's so many that if they transition that to HBO, people would have lost interest in season 1. They're just like, that's it. I can't do it.
But in the books too, isn't it just the core? Is it 5? How many families? 4, 5? How many families are there?
Oh, you can lose
So
count.
it's the Starks and the fish people and
Yeah,
the
the fish
like,
people. The Pisces.
Yeah. Anyway, well, and the dragon girl. You know, so it's like isn't just those main aren't just the main families also from the books?
Definitely. If you were to summarize his books, it is about the main houses. They did get that in the show perfectly. They aged them up a fair amount for the show.
Oh well.
Obviously, there's a lot of naughtiness in the show, so.
Yeah. I know people lost it when was her name?
Daenerys?
No, the girl, the Arya had like a sex scene in the last season, and people like, you know, there are other things in the books that are not in the movie. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, here's one though. I usually ask people that when there's a book or a show, when there's a show or a film based on a book, most people just prefer the book better.
Yeah. It allows you to, well, from an artistic perspective, imagine what everything looks like. And you have a certain vision in your head about the way the story is and the way the characters look and the atmosphere that the book portrays. And then they carry it into the TV show. And it's just sort of thrown in front of you, like this is the way it is. So there's no imagination.
You're not allowed to create what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And another thing, I know you love drawing Star Wars.
Oh yeah. It's my guilty pleasure. Yep.
What do you like about Star Wars?
Oh, what's not to like about Star Wars?
Disney owns it now.
Yes. That is a sad fact. We were all devastated. Although they have a budget that can bring it to make it amazing.
Oh God, I remember so they created this ride based on Star Wars in I think Disneyland or so, and people are like, it's amazing. I don't know, but it's also super expensive, so they do have a budget.
Well, definitely. Yeah, they have way more money than poor George Lucas did back in the day. But yeah, you can go on the Millennium Falcon at Disney World now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to go back. Just for that. Just for the photo opportunities. Come on now.
Well, yeah, you can't deny that. I guess it would be great, but what was it about Star Wars, or was it the characters or the story for you?
Well, back in the 80s, there wasn't a whole lot of strong female characters that weren't portrayed in a very sexualized manner.
Yeah.
You could be a strong female character, but you had to have a bikini on or something.
Yeah.
Star Wars Princess Leia she fired a gun. Like, she kicked ass. She was amazing. I'm sorry, are we allowed to swear?
Yes, you are allowed to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. She inspired me a lot. I loved the story. I loved the costumes. Darth Vader's costume was huge. Like, I don't know, here he comes, dressed in metal and a black helmet. Like, let's do this. This is amazing. Where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So are you wanna and how do you think with this whole we're gonna kind of recreate the whole new canon, and then there's this whole new set of stories being told, and I just read the other day that they're doing a TV series based on the
The Mandalorian.
That guy. Anyway.
That dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about that? So they take this compact story and then blow it up into...
It's a little overwhelming at first. I mean, the inner nerd in me is like, yes, let's do this. Yeah, because I'm a huge nerd, and I always was. I think I was born nerdy. But it just seems like Star Wars, bam, bam, bam. Let's get everything out as quickly as possible. Let's do TVs. Let's do cartoons. Let's do this. And I mean, back, in the 70s, 80s, it was just the Holy Trilogy. It was just the three of them. And then they came out with the prequels in the 90s.
How do you feel about those ones?
Ugh.
They're not that bad.
No, they're not. They're beautiful. I have to say, they're absolutely stunning as far as visuals, everything is concerned. We went to the Phantom Menace. We dressed up. We got in the line.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You're not playing about that nerd thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I had the Leia buns. I had the whole thing. And it was in Truro. So it was at this theater in Truro that only had one movie theater in it. So, like, small town. Or maybe it had three. I can't really remember.
I lived in Truro.
Yeah.
So,
You know the one I
You kind
mean.
of have to go out of town on the highway there. Yeah.
This was by the Wooden Monkey. Do you remember the Wooden Monkey?
Oh, wow.
It's like a little cafe there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, you'd get your Wooden Monkey coffee and then you'd go to the theater. And it was around the same time that The Matrix came out, too. So that was like, bam, bam. But anyway, yeah, we walked in. We're like, yes, there's going to be Jedi fights. There's going to be starships. There's going to be space, everything I want. And then it was just political. It's like, let's talk about the politics in space. Like, that's not why I'm here, dude.
Okay. I understand that one. But with the newer ones with I can't remember. Ray, right?
Yep.
Ray. What do you think of those set of stories?
Oh, I love them. I think it's perfect. My niece loves them too. So
okay.
that's like the next generation. Yeah, it's different, but Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, is lovely.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. No, it's a really good story. I love the storytelling. I love the budget that they're working with. They're making it magic.
Money. Yeah.
I hope it never ends, really, but I'm sure it will at some point. There's going to be burnout.
No, I don't think so. I think so. You see, with Disney, like you had Aladdin and Sleeping Beauty, all these things, right? And then like the animation, and then they now made the live version. Lion King is out now, so they're just gonna keep it going.
Yeah, I think the next thing, it's all going to be CGI, in a couple of years, or virtual reality.
Yeah, because now, even if you had died, they can just draw, create an image of you, and that person goes around acting. Like the lady,
Carrie Fisher?
Yeah.
Although I don't think she's going to have a major role in this. It's sort of, you're looking at her back, I think, for a lot of it. Okay. I hope, because, CGI, you can tell still. Like, until it gets to the point that you can't, I don't think you should do it.
Okay. Going back to your art, what's your process, though, when you see something you want to paint, draw, what happens next?
Well, first, I have to see something that sparks an image that I want. Usually, right now, it seems to be a lot of TV, video game, big nerd, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I decide what medium I want to use. Will this look better in watercolor? Will this look better in acrylic, oil? Do I want it vibrant? Do I want to get it out quick? Like, how do I want to do it? So with oil, because oil's a bit of a process, you have to wait a long time for it to dry.
Yeah, I talked to, I didn't know this, but I talked to someone the other day, and they work in oil, and apparently, like, it can take years for it to be really dry.
Really dry, yeah.
I'm like, what the?
You can varnish the heck out of it, so nothing will ever penetrate that varnish.
Oh, okay.
It'll turn yellow. Like, you can see them cleaning them now, and it's the whole new craze on YouTube, I think, to watch people clean old paintings. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, but also you have to buy the material. You have to make sure you have the paints. And I go through brushes like people go through toothbrushes, like crazy, and they're expensive.
What? Explain the like how? I don't know anything about painting. So why do you have to go through them so quickly?
Did you ever find a really nice pen and never want to give it back to the person you stole from?
Yeah.
Because it just writes perfectly.
Yeah.
A brush is very much the same.
Oh.
It depends on the hair that it's made out of. You can get synthetic. You can get real hair.
Like hair from what? Like a horse or?
I think it's like alpaca. I don't know. I don't really know. It's just real hair. So I'm like, maybe somebody just donated their hair.
Okay.
But yeah, when you find that perfect brush, and usually when you go down to like say to Sears or something to buy it, it's like the perfect brush is there, but it's $29.95. And you know you're gonna like go through it with one painting. It's probably not going to be good anymore. So every new painting needs a $30 brush.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this. I just thought, whatever.
I take care of my brushes. I treat them like gold. So you wash them with olive oil and a little bit of sunlight
Wait,
soap
what?
and olive oil.
Oh my God!
You know, condition the hair and
wow.
there are 2 or 3 paintings out of a brush before it's completely
That's
destroyed.
a process.
It is. Yeah.
Holy smokes! I just thought you dip it in the water. Boop.
Yeah, and away you go. No, I wish. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun though, but yeah, so when you're doing oil painting, you have to consider all that. Like, do you want to contribute 2 weeks of your life to make this a reality? Or do you want to just do it on the computer in a couple days?
Yeah.
It's equally as hard. I'm not saying that, if I didn't have to wait for anything to dry and didn't have to go through brushes and wash the brushes and buy turpentine, I could probably bust out an oil painting every 4 hours. But the way it is you gotta wait. It's a process.
So wait, when you get a canvas, you put pencil on it and stuff.
Yeah, you draw it out first.
Okay, and then you start painting in. But how do you know what goes where? I guess, like, this is where the yellow thing is, and that's where the orange thing is.
I guess the best way to describe it is to sort of squint your eyes and see the shapes.
Oh.
Like when you're not focused on it, it doesn't look like what it is. It looks like a triangle, or it looks like a square, or a big blob of something. So you sort of just start with the base colors. So when you look at the sky and you look at some clouds, a lot of people say, well, the clouds are white and the sky is blue. But if you look really close, there's a million colors in a cloud. There's purple. There's like every color of the rainbow in a cloud.
Well, during the sunset, yeah, but like in the clear, there's like white and blue.
Well, you look at it for a few minutes. You'll see the purple. You'll see the blue. The sky is a gradient, so it's like dark blue, lighter blue, lighter blue. The closer you get to the horizon, so you start with your base colors, and then when you squint a little and you see what's actually there, and then you bring out the bad boys and the big paints and the dark colors and the detail.
Well, so do you use one brush throughout for so the yellow one and the black one, same guy?
You have to work in colors at a time. So if you're working with yellow hues, you can only use yellow hues.
Oh, gotcha.
And then
but isn't that difficult? Well, of course it's difficult.
A little bit at a time.
So you have to kind of figure out where all the yellows or whatever are, and then you paint that up. Man, artists, you kind of... So that's why when you do it, you shift back and you look at it and shit like that.
You have to. You have to stand back. I have to wear my glasses because I'm old. And then you look back. And does it look like it's supposed to? The beauty of oil paint is if it doesn't, then you can literally paint right over it. You make a mistake, I'll just add some white there and then do it over. Yeah, a lot of mediums you can't do that. You start mixing the paints, and with oil it mixes really easily. So...
Oh, yeah. I did one, was a paint night thing. Yeah, it never looks like what the thing is supposed to look like. It's bad.
Paint night instructors are amazing now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And I'm like, you paint this. I remember one, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful painting of, like, it's a night. It's at night and it's raining. And then this lady, I think, is holding a red umbrella. And it's great. And then I'm like, I suck.
I doubt that.
You make this part white, and like when you're making the base, whatever, the white part is easy because it's a blah blah blah. But then you have to kind of put the color in a little bit, and
I'm a firm believer that there's no mistakes in art. It is what it ends up being.
Wait, there's a sort of, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you know this story, but there's a picture of maybe Jesus or something, and it was like kind of messed up.
I know what you're talking about.
And then this lady tried to make it look okay.
Restore it.
Yeah!
She restored it all right. But in the end, it kind of looked like a black hole.
God, what was she thinking?
Maybe she was thinking of space. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, in that case, like, help me understand this one. Why are paintings expensive?
What happens?
Why are paintings expensive?
Well, think about it if you're getting paid per hour. So the average person, let's say $20 an hour. You put in, like for this painting, for example, that would have been about 14 to 15 hours worth of work.
This guy?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then you have to also consider the equipment and the paint and the $29 brushes that you're buying to do it. And then you're owning a piece that's completely individual. Nobody else has this. There's no duplicates unless you're getting printed copies of them. But really, you have the original. Mm-hmm. Something that, came out of someone else's head. There's no copies out there. This is exactly how it was meant to be.
Okay.
So you're getting a little piece of history.
But $35 million?
Oh, I don't think mine will ever be that expensive.
No. But okay, help me understand those ones. Because there's a painting, I can't remember the name, but it's literally 3 orange strips. It's like orange, lighter orange, and more lighter orange. And it's like $100 and something million.
That I can't justify. I'm sure the person who did it spent hours deciding on where those lines were going to be placed. And I'm sure they're extremely talented. Maybe they're just really, really famous and somebody just wants something that somebody else touched.
Okay.
Could be.
So that's it. So basically get famous, then whatever you paint, people just...
Well, in the art world, you don't want to be famous because you're only famous when you're dead.
So if you're famous, you're not here anymore.
Exactly. That's when you start making the real money, is when you die. So I hope to say semi-famous.
Okay.
For at least 25, 30 years.
Okay, so walk me through this guy. What's his name?
That is Solus from Dragon Age.
Okay, yeah, Dragon Age. I asked someone because I don't play video games.
That's cool.
So yeah, I asked my friend that plays video games, like, oh, it's the bad guy from Dragon Age. Okay, so here's the thing. You get the... First off, how do you even decide the size?
Depends on the canvases I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you get a canvas like, okay, this is where I'm gonna put this guy, and then do you draw everything out in pencil? Cause so these are like mountains, and I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, oddly enough, I played the video game and fell completely in love with that character. He's written really well.
But he's a bad guy.
He is.
And you also like Kylo Ren. You always like the bad guys.
I like them a little dark. And interesting.
Okay.
Interesting, the better. But in this particular video game, he's not the bad guy until the end. You don't find out. So, he's just an aura of mystery about him.
Yeah.
He's an elf, obviously, with the pointy ears.
Yeah.
And in that game, you get to romance your choice. You have a bunch of characters, and you can choose your main character to romance whoever you like.
Okay.
And the way that they wrote the script for the game and the way that they designed the characters, they really excelled at making you focus on the little details, like the freckles or the same way I guess you'd fall in love with a human being. You sort of they milk that a lot in the video game. The writers, Patrick Weeks wrote his story and his character, and I read a lot of the books that he's wrote outside of the video game world. Amazing. And that character just spoke to me. So I loved him. I obviously romanced him and then painted him.
Oh, but now, how do you say the first time, your first playthrough, you didn't know he's a bad guy?
Mm-mm.
Did now finding out you're a bad guy, he was the bad guy, change your how you felt about him?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay, because his story was great and stuff.
Well, you'd have to sort of play the game to know, because you don't. It's portrayed that he's going to be the bad guy. There's a twist at the end. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played.
Yeah.
So stay away from YouTube if you haven't seen the twist. But yeah, he's just a very compelling character. He's an ancient character. He's got a lot of history, and the elven lore fantasy aspect of the Dragon Age series is like nothing else. There's elves in Lord of the Rings.
That's what I was going to ask. It's better than Lord of the Rings.
Definitely.
Oh, wow.
Elves are usually portrayed as the cool people that live in the woods, that are magical, but in this series, they're sort of the oppressed race. They're put in alienages, they're called, and they're slaves in another part of the world.
But aren't they powerful and stuff?
No, they don't have magic.
Oh.
No, well, some of them can be wizards, I guess. Then they have magic. They can be warriors. I mean, in this game, you can pick you can be a dwarf, you can be a canary, you can be whatever. But yeah, it's just, and they have a rich history. Like there's any ruins that you visit are usually like old elven ruins from when they were magical and did all these amazing things. And then,
Oh.
yeah, but over the years they lost it. And you sort of find out why in the game.
Ah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And then let's go to the spot, to the crow. Because
Okay.
kind of that's what stood out for me first, right? I was like,
Yay.
who is this? First off, you see crows, but like, you kind of knew this specific crow, and I was thinking, how does she even know that the crow is that crow?
Well, first of all, I should let you know. Sadly, on Friday, I discovered my crow was hit by a car.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very sad about it. We have had a 10-year relationship.
Oh, wow.
So-
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, they can live for 22 years.
Oh, wow.
They don't usually, thanks to cars.
Wait, but like, here's the thing: crows, unlike pigeons, don't really run from cars.
No, well, crows are intelligent. They have a brain capacity unlike any other animal aside from chimps. If you were to measure like the brain size sort of
Based
equals
on
the smart,
yeah.
right? So their brain size is the same as a chimp, and some of them say that some crows have the mental capacity of a 7-year-old human being.
Oh, wow.
And you can see it in their eyes when you get to know them and see them do their thing. And
Yeah, but like, my thing was, how did you even get that close? Because your photos of the crow is like that, and like every time I go to, they just fly away.
Well, I started a relationship with these crows because I walked to work on that route almost daily. And these crows were there. And one day I said, you know what, I'm just going to bring some peanuts for them just because I love crows and why not? So I fed them some peanuts. Eventually, after a little while, they recognized my face. And it's more than just giving them food. I mean, you can just give them food and they recognize you for food and they come to see you for food and then they fly away. That's cool. You can have a bond with a crow that way. But I wanted to actually get to know these crows. And since I see them every day, what better crows to pick than the ones that are on my walk to work every day? So it went down, I'd go down on the weekends and I'd bring my peanuts so they'd come and then I'd just hang out with them and just watch them eat and have some peanuts myself and just sort of hang around. Usually brought my camera. You'd spend hours. I could spend hours just sitting there because they hang around. When they know you're not a threat, you're one of the party, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And after a while, this particular crow, and he obviously found a mate. I call her Rascal.
What did you call him?
I actually didn't give him a name.
Oh.
I figured that in the crow world, he had a very special name because he's a special crow, like Sir Reginald Longbeak III or something. So I said, I better not name you. I'm sure you have a really cool name already. But he had a white feather on his wing, and it came back after every molt. It was always there. So he's the one I singled out as, you're going to be my buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, we're going to be pals. And after a while of hanging out, I mean, I'd go to work, doesn't matter what time of day it is, he would fly from wherever he was to come over and hang out. And what you hear when you hear a crow is the loud caws, like, you know, the ah. But when you get to know crows, like in their family units when they're up in the trees, what you don't hear is the little chirps and the gurgles and the purring and
Wow.
Yeah, they make the coolest little noises.
Wow. Okay.
And it's reserved for their family. They have a whole language between their family members, and I'm sure they're just talking about where the food caches are and where, you know, but whatever. It's stuff you don't normally hear.
Yeah.
So he'd come up to me and he'd make the cutest little noises.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew, all right, we're pals. I'm getting to hear your conversation. You're hearing me. And I'd be like, how you doing, little bud? And he'd sort of lowly make little gurgling noises back. And then the wife came on the scene and she started, I don't know if it was from jealousy or what, but she would land on my head.
She didn't understand the friendship.
I guess not. I mean, they obviously made it. They had babies 2 years in a row. She's a good mom. The other crows protect her.
Obviously they have seasons. Never mind. I was like, do they have seasons for mating? Like they have them? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, we're coming to the end of that now. It starts around May.
Okay.
That's when you see crows like basically
Everywhere.
flying around, chasing each other all over the place. Then they build nests. So when they find their mate, they mate for life too, by the way. Like whoever they pick, that's them for the end of time, for as long as they live.
So I don't know, for some reason I thought it was only penguins that did that, right?
No, crows do too.
Oh, okay. So
Very loyal creatures.
cool.
Yeah, so they build the nest, and the nest is big, and they're really smart, so they build a couple of decoy nests.
Oh.
So you'll see a lot of, like, they'll start building nests into trees, and then they'll abandon it because that's the decoy nest. So for eagles and hawks and stuff that take their babies. But yeah, so I've been witness to 2 rounds of babies be introduced to me.
When they have when they have kids, after a while the kids leave, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They stay, like, some will stay and protect the next seasons of offspring, and they're very tight. But they do fly off, find their own mates, join their own little crews. They're cliquey. So they go to a roost every night where they all communicate and, talk about the dead deer they found in the wood that day or whatever they do.
Yeah.
But that seems to be their information hub, is when they go to the roost. And in Halifax, the roost is around Mount St. Vincent University out. I was devastated to learn recently that their roost of over 200 years was cut down for clear cutting.
So it's in a tree and stuff.
Yeah, they have like, if you drive out to the Bedford Highway at dusk, you'll see millions of crows in the sky, all going to the roost that's in the back of the college there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they still go there, and they've now been forced to choose a different roosting area, but there was woods and trees there that were 200 years old that they cut down. I don't know why they cut them down.
Are they building something?
Probably building a apartment.
Halifax. Building something everywhere. I remember driving down Bedford Highway, like I was saying. There used to be one block of apartments kind of close to Larry E-Tech, but now they're like 6 or something. Like, holy smokes.
Oh, yeah, it's huge here. But yeah, they've seemed to have adapted. They do still roost in that direction, although I don't know where. Anyway, but in the springtime, they don't go to the roost. If they're nesting, they're in their nest trees with their eggs and their wives and their cousins and nephews and whoever's protecting the nest at that time.
Wow. And how did you find out about Sir Robert III?
Sir Longbeak, Reginald, whatever. Excuse me. That just sort of happened. It was like he had the white wing, so that was his immediate identifier for me. I know it's difficult to tell them apart. It's extremely difficult to tell male from female, although I do know that he was a boy. I had a vet tell me that it's definitely a boy. He was bigger. He was sort of the leader of the pack. They weren't allowed to eat unless he ate first, kind of like lions do, So it broke my heart when he passed away, because I heard his mate in the tree, and she was making the most sorrowful sounds from the tree, and they kept flying over his little body. He's gone now. I went down to check. So raccoon must have had lunch or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a wonderful relationship, and I highly recommend, if you can befriend a crow, definitely befriend a crow.
It's a lot of patience, though.
It can be. I mean, I didn't take any time out of my day. I really wanted to do it, though. So I guess that helped.
You're also a member of the E3C. Do you want to tell me a bit more about that?
Absolutely. EC3 is our monthly meetup for artists, visual artists, designers, programmers, coders, whoever wants to come. We usually have guest speakers that do talks at our events. Right now, our next one is July 26th, 25th, Thursday. This Thursday. Whatever date this Thursday is. It's sort of more laid back in the summer. Yeah. So we're just doing a little drink and draw. So come mingle with other artists. Basically, I wanted to go. I heard about it through Twitter. And I was in a little bit of an artistic rut. So I said, why not? Why not go talk about this rut with other artists in the city? So I got up my courage and went down. It was on a Tuesday night. And then Allison, the showrunner, was incredible. She made me feel so welcome. Got a hug. Like, this is the first time I'm meeting this girl. She's awesome. Made me feel extremely welcome. Everybody that was there was so welcoming. So I just kept going, and now I'm helping her run it.
Okay, I'm going to end it with this, Shannon. With your art, what's your big plan?
My big plan is to be rich and famous. I just would love to do art for a living. I would love to be able to quit my corporate job and just get paid to be creative. Mostly, I just don't ever want to stop painting because I think if I ever stop, I'd die.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I love being creative. I love expressing myself. I just hope it never ends, and I hope everybody still loves them and watches me on Instagram.
I will. I know I will because your artwork is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
This is the Blackout podcast.
Thanks for listening.